You don't notice it at first. There's no loud warning, no sharp pain, no sudden collapse. It starts quietly. On a morning like any other, you wake up, stretch your arms, and sit at the edge of the bed. You move your feet to the floor. You try to stand, and for a moment something feels off. Your legs don't hurt, but they don't feel steady either. They feel distant, like they're 1 second behind the rest of you. You take a step. And again, it's not pain. It's not weakness. It's uncertainty. A slight wobble. A hesitation. Maybe you reach out to steady yourself, just in case. And in your mind, you brush it off. I probably slept wrong. Maybe I didn't drink enough water yesterday. Could be the weather. Could be age. But what if it's not? What if it's something else? What if the thing quietly making your legs feel heavier, less reliable, isn't your bones or your muscles, but your habits, and more specifically, your drinks? The beverages you've trusted for years, the ones you start your morning with, the ones you sip through the day, the ones you turn to when you're tired, thirsty, or in need of comfort. What if they're silently draining your strength? If you're over 60 and you've been feeling this strange shift in your legs, not weakness, but a slow disconnection, then it's time to take a closer look at what's in your cup. Because some drinks do more than quench your thirst. They disrupt your balance. They dehydrate your muscle. They weaken your nerves. And over time, they leave you wondering why everyday tasks suddenly feel harder than they used to. If this sounds like something you felt, then stay with us. You're not alone. And you're not powerless. Subscribe to Senior Fit, because growing older doesn't mean giving up your strength. It means learning what your body truly needs and giving it the chance to heal. Today we'll uncover 3 everyday drinks that may be making your legs weaker without you knowing it. And more importantly, what to drink instead so you can feel strong, steady, and secure again. Let's begin. For many people, it starts with a decision to do better, to cut back on sugar, to lose weight, to drink something that sounds healthier. So they reach for the can that says 0. 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 guilt. It's called diet soda, and at first glance it seems like a smart choice. But what's written in bold on the front of the label doesn't tell the full story. Because while diet sodas may remove the sugar, they replace it with something else. Artificial sweeteners. Names like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium. Words that sound technical, but what they do to the body is very real. Aspartame, in particular, has been studied for its effects on the nervous system. And that matters. Because your legs don't just rely on muscles. They rely on nerves, the communication lines between your brain and your body. If those signals slow down, become confused, or weakened, your legs respond slower. They feel less certain, less steady. Not because they're injured, but because they're misfiring. Some studies have linked long-term consumption of artificial sweeteners to changes in nerve sensitivity balance issues and increased inflammation in muscle tissue. But it doesn't stop there. Many diet sodas also contain phosphoric acid, a substance that leaches calcium from your bones. For seniors, that means a double threat. Weakened muscles from disrupted nerve signals and weakened bones from mineral loss. Together, it creates a slow erosion of stability. You're less likely to feel it all at once. It creeps in. You step off the sidewalk and feel the ground differently. You take longer to rise from a chair. You avoid walking across uneven grass. And maybe you tell yourself it's just age. Let me tell you about George. He's 68, a retired carpenter with hands that still remember the feel of wood. For years, George drank 2 cans of diet soda a day. He believed it helped him manage his weight. He liked the taste, and he never thought it could be harming him. Until one morning, while adjusting a picture frame at home, he stepped off a small stool and stumbled. He didn't fall, but he felt something he couldn't explain. His legs hadn't caught him like they used to. He began noticing other small things. Needing to hold the railing on the stairs, taking shorter walks, dragging one foot ever so slightly. When we met, I asked him about his habits. And when we removed the diet soda, replacing it with mineral-rich water and herbal teas, The change was quiet, but powerful. In 4 weeks, he reported feeling stronger. His balance returned, and the hesitation in his steps began to fade. George didn't need a miracle drug. He just needed to stop confusing his body. If you've been drinking diet soda every day and wondering why your legs feel less connected, now you know. But diet soda isn't the only drink stealing your strength. There's another one. It's older, more comforting, and more common. In fact, you might be holding a cup of it right now. Let's talk about that next. Coffee is more than a drink. For many of us, it's a comfort, a companion, a beginning. It marks the start of our day, often before the sun has fully risen. The warmth in your hands, the familiar scent drifting through the kitchen. It feels like a small act of self-care. And in truth, coffee isn't all bad. In moderation, it can improve alertness, sharpen focus, and even lift your mood. But as we age, our relationship with coffee changes. Not because our taste buds change, but because our bodies do. After 60, the systems that regulate minerals, hydration, and inflammation become more sensitive. And coffee, especially in large amounts, can tip that balance in the wrong direction. Here's what many don't realize. Caffeine is a natural diuretic. That means it causes your body to lose more fluid, and with it critical minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Those minerals are not just numbers on a blood test. They are essential for muscle contraction, nerve function, and bone density. When they're depleted, your legs feel the first wave. Cramps in the calves, tingling at night, a feeling of heaviness when you stand, and maybe even slight trembling when you walk down steps. It doesn't mean you need to give up coffee entirely, but it does mean your body might need help recovering from the drain it creates. Let me tell you about Maria. She's 72. She loved her coffee. 4 cups a day, always black. It helped her feel awake, especially on cold mornings. But over time, she started experiencing strange sensations. A sudden twitch in her thigh, an odd weakness when she tried to rise from the couch. One night, her leg cramped so badly, it woke her up. She drank plenty of water. She stayed active, but something wasn't adding up. When we talked, I asked about her drinks. She hadn't connected her symptoms to coffee. It had been her routine for decades, but we made a few changes. She cut her coffee intake in half. She added a pinch of sea salt and lemon to her morning water. She increased her intake of magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds and spinach, and every afternoon she drank coconut water instead of reaching for a second or third cup of coffee. In just 2 weeks, her nighttime cramps stopped. By week 4, she told me her legs felt more alive than they had in years. Maria didn't give up her ritual. She simply shifted it to work with her body, not against it. If you're drinking multiple cups of coffee each day and your legs have been feeling tired, tense, or unreliable, it might not be aging. It might be depletion. And the beautiful thing is, depletion is reversible. But the next drink we're about to talk about is different. It comes in a cheerful bottle. It's advertised as healthy. And yet, it may be one of the most deceptively damaging drinks for seniors. Let's talk about fruit juice. It looks harmless. A tall glass of orange juice, bright and golden. You might remember pouring it for your kids in the morning. You might still pour it for yourself. It feels like a healthy start to the day. After all, it's full of vitamin C. It says 100% juice on the label. It comes with images of fresh fruit and glowing health. But hidden behind that sweet taste is something your legs can feel long before your tongue does. Most fruit juices, especially bottled ones, are stripped of fiber. That means when you drink them, the natural sugars inside hit your bloodstream fast. Too fast. And when that happens, your body responds with a surge of insulin. This sudden rise and fall in blood sugar doesn't just affect your energy. It triggers something deeper: inflammation. Inflammation is the quiet fire that burns through your tissues. It breaks down collagen, the protein that gives structure to your muscles, joints, and skin. And when collagen is damaged, muscles weaken faster. Ligaments lose their elasticity. Your legs may feel stiff, sore, or strangely slow. And all of this from a drink you thought was helping you stay healthy. But there's more. Many commercial juices, especially orange juice from concentrate, contain added citric acid and preservatives that can irritate your joints and raise acidity in your body. Over time, this can create a perfect storm. More inflammation, less collagen, slower muscle recovery, and a body that feels older than it should. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 70. Every morning, she drank a glass of orange juice with breakfast. She believed it supported her immune system, and for years she had no reason to doubt it. But in her late 60s, she began feeling tightness in her knees. Going downstairs became harder. She needed to rest more often during her walks. Her balance felt slightly off, like the floor wasn't quite where it used to be. At first, she blamed arthritis. Then she thought it might be her shoes. But nothing changed until we looked at her diet. When we removed fruit juice and replaced it with water infused with lemon and a spoon of chia seeds, things started to shift. Her blood sugar stabilized. Her stiffness reduced. She started adding in smoothies with fiber-rich fruits like berries and avocado instead of drinking sugar in liquid form. Within weeks, Linda felt steadier. Her legs no longer felt like they were carrying someone else's weight. They felt like hers again. It wasn't magic. It was simply removing what was quietly harming her and replacing it with what her body truly needed. If you've been drinking fruit juice daily, especially if it's packaged, sweetened, or from concentrate, consider taking a pause. Your body might surprise you. Your knees might feel lighter. Your walks might feel longer. And your mornings might start with clarity, not a crash. So now that we've looked at the 3 everyday drinks that weaken your legs, the question becomes clear. What should you drink instead? What can you put into your body each day that will support your muscles, nourish your balance, and help you stand tall again? Let's explore that next. Now that you know what to avoid, it's time to turn the page. Because this isn't just about cutting out harmful drinks. It's about replacing them with something better, something nourishing. Something that speaks to your body the way a kind word speaks to your heart. Every sip can be a signal that tells your muscles, I'm here for you. That tells your bones you are safe. That tells your nervous system it's time to reconnect. And these signals don't come from expensive supplements or trendy elixirs. They come from simple, natural drinks you can make at home, often with ingredients already in your kitchen. Let's begin with the morning. That quiet space before the day gets busy. Instead of coffee or juice, try this. Warm water with lemon and ginger. It's simple. Just 1 cup of warm water, a few slices of fresh ginger or a small pinch of ground ginger, and the juice of a quarter lemon. Drink it slowly. Let it settle. Here's why it matters. Ginger is a natural anti-inflammatory. It soothes joint pain, reduces swelling, and supports digestion, which affects everything from your energy to your ability to absorb nutrients. Lemon provides gentle acidity to stimulate collagen production and liver detoxification. Warm water rehydrates your muscles after sleep, helping them wake up with ease, not stiffness. Together, this drink doesn't just replace coffee or juice. It creates a foundation, a quiet beginning to a stronger day. Next, let's talk about what you can sip in the afternoon. When your energy dips, when your legs feel a little heavy. Instead of reaching for another coffee or a can of soda, try coconut water. Just 1 glass. Unsweetened, pure coconut water. It's rich in potassium and magnesium, the very minerals that support muscle function and prevent cramps. It also replenishes electrolytes lost through caffeine sweating or mild dehydration. Many older adults don't realize their fatigue or wobbliness in the afternoon isn't from age. It's from missing minerals, and coconut water helps bring them back. Finally, we end the day where healing happens best. At night, while you sleep, your body repairs itself. So what you drink before bed matters. Try this simple smoothie. 1 small banana. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, 1 cup of unsweetened almond or oat milk. Blend it. Sip it an hour before sleep. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, potassium, calcium, and gentle fiber. It supports your muscles, calms your nervous system, and feeds your body with what it needs to rebuild while you rest. Let me tell you about Tom. He's 73. He didn't believe in health trends. But after nearly falling on his porch, he knew something had to change. He didn't want pills. He didn't want complicated routines, so he just changed his drinks. Ginger lemon water in the morning, coconut water in the afternoon, a flaxseed smoothie before bed. That was it. Within 1 month, his legs stopped cramping. His posture improved. He walked with confidence again. He didn't need more willpower. He just needed better fuel. If you're tired of feeling uncertain on your feet, start here. Start small. Start with your cup. Because what you drink today becomes what you walk with tomorrow. And now, before we close, I want to tell you one last thing. Something your body may have been waiting to hear for a long time. There's something beautiful that happens when you stop punishing your body and start partnering with it. When you stop saying, "I'm too old for this," and start whispering, "I'm still here." You may have spent years drinking things you thought were harmless. Years blaming age for your slow steps or your tired legs. But let me tell you something that too many seniors never hear. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are not past the point of progress. Because the truth is, your body still remembers. It remembers how to rebuild muscle. It remembers how to restore collagen. It remembers how to stand with strength even after years of quiet decline. All it needs is the signal, the right signal. Not chaos, not sugar spikes, not dehydration, but calm, nourishment, consistency. I've seen this truth in hundreds of my patients. Men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who believed their best strength was behind them. Until they changed one small thing, and then another. Until one day they stood taller, moved easier, laughed at something they hadn't found funny in years. Not because of a miracle, but because they met their bodies halfway. They stopped drinking what weakened them and started feeding what wanted to survive. Let me tell you about Howard. He was 81 when he came into my office. He walked with a cane not because he needed it, but because he didn't trust his legs anymore. He used to be a mechanic. Now he stayed home most days watching television, sipping juice coffee soda, sometimes all three before noon. He didn't think much of it. Oh, he said, "It's just what I do." But under that routine was a nervous system crying for minerals, a muscular system running on empty, and a man who had quietly given up on feeling strong again. So we made one change, just one. He replaced his morning soda with warm ginger water. That's it. 1 week later, he added coconut water in the afternoon. 2 weeks later, he swapped the juice for a homemade smoothie before bed. He didn't go to the gym. He didn't take new medication. He didn't follow a strict diet. But in 8 weeks, Howard walked into my clinic without his cane. And when I asked him what felt different, he smiled and said, "I'm not afraid of the stairs anymore." There was silence after he said it. The kind of silence that only comes when someone has reclaimed something they thought was lost. Confidence, balance, dignity. This is what your body still wants for you. This is what's possible, not in theory, but in reality. It's not too late. It's never too late. But you have to begin, and you have to believe. Because the final drink you take tonight could be the first signal of recovery your body has been waiting for. Let me leave you with one more story, a quiet one, but it stayed with me. James was 76, a retired teacher, husband, grandfather of 5. He came into my clinic not because he was in pain, not because he was ill, but because of the stairs. He told me he had stopped using the second floor of his home, not because he couldn't, but because he didn't trust the trip down. He said it slowly, with eyes that looked past me like he was trying to accept something permanent. "I just don't feel like my legs are mine anymore." We sat together, and for a while he spoke about his routine: coffee in the morning, a glass of orange juice with his pills, sometimes a diet soda while watching the news, water if he remembered. He wasn't eating badly. He wasn't inactive. But his legs, they didn't respond like they used to. So we began again. Not with exercise, not with medicine, but with the simple act of changing what he drank. Warm lemon and ginger in the morning, coconut water in the afternoon, a flaxseed smoothie in the evening. He called it the triangle. Within 10 days, he noticed something. He wasn't as tired at 2 p.m. He stopped reaching for the wall when standing. And then one morning he climbed the stairs not because he had to, but because he wanted to see if he could. He walked back down slowly, then turned around and did it again. He told me he cried afterward, not from pain, from surprise, from the realization that he wasn't declining, he had just been underfed. Not in calories, but in care, in minerals, in trust. The stairs hadn't changed, but he had. And here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to climb a mountain. You don't have to lift weights or run laps. You just have to begin with what you pour into your glass. Because recovery is not a sprint. It is a direction. And every drink you choose today can take you one step closer to the steadiness you deserve. If you've heard yourself in any of these stories, if you've felt the wobble, the doubt, or the quiet frustration of legs that no longer match your spirit, then this message is for you. You are not alone, and more importantly, you are not finished. You are still here, and your body is still listening. Share this with someone you love, someone who might be silently struggling with the same slow decline. And if you want to walk this journey with us, subscribe to Senior Fit, where growing older is not a loss of strength. It's a return to it. One step, one breath, one sip at a time. Tomorrow morning, something small will happen. You will wake up. The sunlight will filter through the blinds. The floor will meet your feet. And somewhere between that first step and the next breath, you will make a choice. Maybe it will feel simple. Maybe it will feel like nothing at all. You will reach for a glass and pour something into it. But this time it won't just be a drink. It will be a message. A message to your muscles, I'm ready to rebuild. A message to your joints, I haven't given up on you. A message to your balance, your rhythm, your strength. Come back to me. I'm here now. Because the truth is, the comeback doesn't begin in a gym. It begins in your kitchen, in your mug, in your hands. And in that first sip, there is something sacred. Not because of what's in the drink itself, but because of what it represents. That you are still learning. That you are still fighting gently, wisely, quietly. That you believe you can still change course. And you can. One sip at a time. One step at a time. One day at a time. You may not notice a dramatic shift tomorrow or the next day, but give your body what it's been missing, and it will respond. Maybe your legs will feel a little lighter by the end of the week. Maybe the stairs will seem less steep. Maybe you'll look in the mirror and notice something small, but unshakable. A little more steadiness, a little more confidence, a quiet strength returning to where it once lived. So tomorrow, pour something kind into your cup. Warm water with lemon, coconut water with purpose, a smoothie that tastes like care. And lift that glass like a promise, not just to stay alive, but to live with steadiness, clarity, and strength. Because you are still here, and your next chapter is still being written. So what comes next? Maybe it's not a grand transformation. Maybe it's just a moment repeated. A moment where you choose something better, where you pause before pouring, where you ask yourself, is this helping me heal? Because small questions shape big outcomes, and the next weeks will be built on those quiet choices. You've learned the drinks that harm your legs, the ones that seem harmless, even healthy, but slowly erode the strength you're trying to protect. You've met George, Maria, Linda, Howard, James, and maybe you saw pieces of yourself in them. Maybe you've felt the wobble. Maybe you've whispered, "This isn't me." Maybe you've quietly avoided the stairs. But now you know, your body can still respond. Your muscles can still wake up. Your balance can still return. And strength, real strength, isn't measured in how much you lift. It's measured in how bravely you return to yourself. You are not just a senior. You are still a story in motion. So what do you do now? You take a sip. You keep going. You remember that healing does not require perfection, only persistence. And if this video helped you, if it spoke to something in your experience, then please share it. There is someone out there right now, a brother, a mother, a neighbor, who is struggling to understand why their legs feel foreign. Let them know they are not alone. And if you haven't already subscribed to Senior Fit, this is more than a channel. It's a place where your strength is still honored, where your journey still matters, and where growing older is not the end of the movement. It's the return of meaning. Coming up next, we'll talk about the 5 vitamins that protect your legs after 60 and how to restore mobility with food, not pills. Until then, keep walking, keep choosing, and when you wake up tomorrow, remember, your cup is not just a habit, it's a healing. We'll see you again soon.